All right. Hello, everyone. I am excited to be here. Today is Friday, and we are in April. Therefore, April, in case you didn't know, is Financial Literacy Awareness Month. So, in honor of Financial Literacy Awareness Month, I, as a money coach, am celebrating by coming to you guys and talking to you about different financial literacy principles, especially for just the time that we're in America right now. I think that it can help a lot of people, and I am excited to just share some tips, some tricks, some things to keep in mind, especially for this first week. We are going into a new quarter, right? It's quarter two of 2026. You might be thinking of your financial goals for the year, or you might just be looking at financial news and just the global economy and trying to figure things out, trying to figure out what's my path, what's going on. So today's topic is actually money mindset and financial literacy. So in the future, my hope for the other Fridays of this month, my hope is to be able to have some nice visuals and presentation and articles and things to show you. But as of today, I actually wanted to make sure I'm live on all the platforms. Okay. But as of today, I do not have all those things prepared, and I'm actually meeting a friend for dinner tonight. So I don't have any visuals for you guys, but I do have notes. Okay. And I'm a yapper anyway. Okay. I'm a talker. So y'all just going to listen to me talk, and hopefully you get something out of it and it's coherent and it makes sense. But if not, going forward, my future Financial Literacy Fridays for this month will hopefully be a bit more just different. Okay, so if you don't know me, it's just your first time ever seeing me, I am a money coach. I have been a money coach for a few years, since 2018, quite a few years now, and very passionate about what I do, love it. But one thing about me, and one thing that I've come to terms with in recent years, is that in a lot of ways, I see that the system is broken. And I'm very excited about reimagining new ways of how we can work with money and different financial systems. And I'm going to kind of talk more about that as I go through. But as I said, today's topic is money mindset and addressing financial anxiety. And if you are dealing with financial anxiety, financial stress, money stress, rightfully so. Okay, let's just start here. I want you to know the format of this is going to go as such. Okay, the beginning is going to probably sound a lot like a rant. Okay, I have a lot of gripes. I can stand on the soapbox for hours and list out all the reasons why I think our economic system is broken, and I'm not going to be here for hours. Like I said, I have lunch with or dinner with a friend, but the beginning part of this is definitely going to be presenting like why are we so stressed out, what's going on right now. And then my hope is to end this, not just talk about the problems, not just talk about what's going on and why are we so stressed out, but also end it with plans, solutions, things that we can do to feel better, get to a better place. So let's go ahead and jump in. First thing in my notes, I want to just address how people are feeling about their finances. To say the least, to make an understatement, people are stressed about having to choose between which bills they're going to pay late, juggling what bills they can. If you're in the live, maybe you could drop down in the comments, let me know, like, how are you feeling? What is stressing you out most about your finances? Tell me, what is stressing you the most? But most of the time, people are feeling like they're working, they're making money, but there's more month than there is money. The money is just not adding up. People are having to make tough decisions. They're going without essentials. Like, for example, they might have to choose between food, for the week, or gas, or medicine, or sometimes it's even shelter, right? Some people are staying in their cars because they can't afford to balance all their expenses at once. People feel like they don't even have enough to save and invest and feel like they're behind, like they don't have enough for themselves after just paying bills. And not just that, they often feel like they don't even have enough. They don't have enough money for time freedom or to even just live life and enjoy life. Like a lot of people are just working to pay bills, and then we're just on the cycle again and again, a hamster on a wheel. We are clearly seeing that wages are not keeping up with cost of living, and it makes people feel like they're financially drowning. And it's a very hard position to be in, and something I can very personally relate with. And really, financial nihilism is on the rise. And hopefully, the next time I come to you guys live, we can, talk more in depth about that. And I want to be able to cite some articles and show you guys some different things that I've been reading. But experts are talking about how financial nihilism is on the rise. And basically what that is like hopelessness about your future, like feeling like, what's the point of saving? Like we're all just going to die anyway. Like this is all crashing and burning anyway. So why would I save money? Which to a certain extent, like I understand where you're coming from with that, but that can't be the mindset that we have, because otherwise that's what's going to show up in your habits. And we're going to talk more about that later. But next point in my notes here, the system is built to keep us stuck, right? So the system has built in systematic oppression that keeps people stuck in cycles that are very hard to break out of. Systematic oppression. A lot of people have heard about systematic racial oppression, yes, but there's also systematic financial oppression. And basically, because we know that this capitalism system is broken and people at the top are just trying to make as much money as they can, as this ship is literally crashing and burning. Like if y'all remember that scene from the Titanic, everybody running around screaming crazy, and it's the people playing like the violins on the boats. Like it's some people right now playing the violin, and some people jumping in the life raft, and some people who still downstairs in the bunker who don't even know what's going on, right? So it's chaos right now, to say the least. And the people who are at the top, they're just trying to make as much money as they can before the Titanic slips under the water. We know that capitalism is a system that inherently separates people into working class versus the ownership class. And then the worst part is it creates barriers to move from one class to another. It's like when you climb the corporate ladder and then you get to the top and knock the ladder down and nobody else can come up. Gatekeeping, people who literally don't have access to certain jobs because they never even heard of it before, right? So we know also that capitalism punishes workers that make more money by taking more taxes, but it rewards corporations for being more exploitative to increase profits. The ultimate goal of a corporation is to become more efficient. The problem is that efficiency inherently means that someone will be exploited somewhere, either in the producing of the raw materials, which we see that especially that was very prevalent and is still going on with sourcing raw materials, for example, in the Congo for materials for the iPhone and different technology, right? Or it's going to be exploitative to the customer or the workers. And we are seeing that all across America, right? People being taken advantage of as far as these prices, which we're going to get more into in a second. And as far as workers, we know that all different types of industries are seeing the rise of unions, the rise of strikes, the rise of people who are workers who are not asking for much, mind you, asking for basic rights. Imagine that, asking for basic rights as an employee, and these people feel like they got to go on strike for that. Okay, that's because corporate capitalism is naturally exploitative. Somewhere along the line, somebody's going to be exploited. Also, another note, Capitalism promotes individualism and isolation. This is what capitalism wants. Capitalism wants you to just worry about yourself, your money, your land, and sometimes your family. The wild part about that is capitalism is always worried about you, worried about your money, you're trying to take somebody else's land, trying to destroy somebody else's family. It's so crazy how, if we're going to talk about this, gaslighting to the ultimate extreme. Because how you want me to worry about myself, but you all up in my pockets? Okay? The problem with that is capitalism promotes isolation, but as humans, we are naturally communal. For thousands of years, we are more communal. We have lived in tribal cultures or tribal clans, family groups, and we were self sufficient. Capitalism came in and it said, no, we need to make borders, property lines, taxes, bills. Why? Capitalism came in and it said, we want you to be competitive. We want you to compare your success to others. Something that I'm very passionate about and that we're going to talk about later in this live. I'm more passionate about cooperative economics. Cooperative economics wants you to be collaborative and support each other in times of need, which is the opposite of what capitalism wants you to do. Capitalism promotes the kill or be killed philosophy. It makes people paranoid and distrustful of each other. That is against human nature, guys. Human nature, people are communal. They want to trust each other. They want to rely on each other. Maybe not everybody. Maybe it's your chosen circle, your chosen family, your chosen village. Okay, whatever. But the natural human instinct is not isolation. It's not kill or be killed. That's animalistic instincts. And that's what these people are. Okay? Next point in my notes here. Capitalism promotes, or let's say it like this. Capitalism has two different modes of making money, probably more than this, but I'm just going to separate it into these two modes right now for simplicity's sake. Asset derived income versus labor derived income. So what I mean by that is asset derived income means making money or leveraging my assets to make me more money. So, or versus labor income obviously means I'm showing up, I'm clocking in, I'm using my hands or I'm using my mental capacity, I'm typing on a computer, I'm physically somewhere working for someone else. It is not my assets or my things making money. I have to presently show up and be there to make more money. The problem with that is that people tell you, especially if you have labor derived income, oh, you need to just work harder. Oh, you're just not working hard enough. But the problem is working harder does not always mean more money. Most of the billionaire class did not get there by working hard. I don't know if that's a revelation to anybody here, but billionaires did not get there by doing labor intensive work. Okay, they got their wealth, their net worth is derived from their assets, which I hope to teach more people on how to get more assets, how to earn money that can make them more money, right? But most people, I would dare to say 95 to 99% of people are in labor derived income. And a very small percentage of people who are asset derived income are controlling all the labor derived income people. Okay. Next point in my notes: proximity, capitalism, and your outcome of wealth sometimes is dependent upon your proximity and your proximity to wealth and your access to resources. And these are the types of things when I say systematic, it's baked into our culture to the point where you have to work extra hard to be able to overcome some of these circumstances. Is it possible? Yes. Do we have so many great examples of men and women from all different cultures and ethnicities and hard circumstances that have overcome these things? Yes. But statistically speaking, these structures are in place and keep people stuck in the classes that they are within the system. So, what I mean by that is your outcomes can be dependent on your zip code, for example. Maybe you've heard of redlining before, right? That was not, we're not too far removed, slash, it's still going on in certain places in America, right? Where dependent on where you go, I mean, I'm from Baltimore City. There are certain streets you drive down Baltimore City, you completely in the county looks like a completely different neighborhood versus you get a little bit further down that street and you don't want to be there at that time of night, at a certain time of night, right? So dependent on your zip code can significantly dictate your outcomes with wealth. That to me seems ridiculous, but that's our current state of the economy, of our system. Another thing that's probably obvious, race and ethnicity, your gender, your education, even down to your social connections, right? Think about it. Do you have people in your social circle or your network that are willing to and have the financial reserves to help you in time of need? I hope that in my next live, I will be able to be more prepared and have some visuals and presentation and different things. But I'm pretty sure it was Donald Trump who said, "Oh, I just got a small loan of like a couple $1,000s from my dad to start my business when he was a young adult." Most people who come from the hood, who come from where I come from, they don't have somebody who has a couple $1,000s just to loan them for a business, and this man has failed every business he started. Okay, so in that case, throw away some money on a wasteful business, right? Your proximity to people who have wealth and people who have access to resources, someone who can just stroke the check, has significant indications on your outcome of wealth. So your takeaway from that should be, oh, I need to surround myself with people who got money. And that's possible to do, even if you don't have money. You just got to put yourself in the right rooms, right? Another thing, another point of my notes here. Why do they have more check cashing stores than investment brokerages and banking institutions in the hood? Riddle me that. Why is it that you can go and cash your check at every corner store and bodega? And I've lived in many major cities across America. So why is it that it's more of those in the hood than it is other banking institution, investment brokerages? Ask yourself that. Look around you. What's around you? What do you see? Another thing, awareness of resources and programs. Like, for example, that can help you in times of hardship. Sometimes people don't know what they don't know, which is very important because the thing about that is if you are struggling and you choose to self-isolate and just try and bootstrap it and figure it out on my own, you don't realize that there might be a resource, a program, a community-based something, or an individual, a group, organization that is looking to help someone in your exact situation. But because of our poverty mindset, our upbringing, our location, you might not even know those resources are around you, right? So proximity to wealth is so important. And along with that, even food deserts, proximity to healthy options to eat. There are certain places in America where the only grocery store or place you can buy food is a corner store or a convenience store or a 7-Eleven. And I don't say that to say those people suck or those areas suck, but to show that this is the state of our country. So when people are feeling financial stress, you have to realize there are so many compounding factors that some of them you might not even realize are controlling and dictating your current outcomes. And this is not to say, oh, well, all of this is out of my control and I can't do nothing about it, right? Like these are things that sometimes, like you can't control what zip code you're born into. You can't control what gender you're born. Well, let me not go there. You can't control what race you are. You can't control some of these things, right? But what I'm saying is, if you realize that it's a systematic issue and not a what's wrong with me issue, that alleviates a lot of the financial stress, because then I don't have to question or blame myself or shame myself if feel like I need to, is something wrong with me. No, this is literally systematic issues. Okay, let me keep going because I'm a yapper. Okay, and I told y'all I gotta make lunch. Okay, I keep saying lunch, but it's dinner time. I'm on the East Coast. I'm in North Carolina. Anyway, I'm gonna finish that. So, also another note, they made it easier to get into debt, but so hard to get out of debt. Why is it that credit card companies are deploying, literal multi-million dollar budgets, multi-million, sometimes billion-dollar budgets for marketing, for social media, to get people to buy more stuff and engage with more brands? They want you to spend more money. They tell you that it's good to, they tell you to get the good debt and to leverage debt, but then they also tell you to be fearful and to pay off debt. So it's like, well, which one is it? Now, personally, as a money coach, and what I tell my clients is err on the side of paying off the debt, okay? Because the debt is keeping you way down and is becoming more expensive to carry. It's becoming heavier, right? So if you could get out the debt, get out the debt. But I say that to say another reason people are so financially stressed is because there's just so many people out there, so many voices, so many advice. No, use debt. No, don't use debt. Get debt free. No, leverage debt. Good debt, bad debt, right? It's like, which one is it? Like, I don't even know. And to me, the true answer is it's a case-by-case basis, which is why you need to have your own unique financial plan and not try to follow what everybody says on the internet, myself included. You need to sit down, look at your goals, look at your values, look at what's important to you, look at your money, and you employ the strategy that works best for you. There's no one size fits all when it comes to finances, right? But all of this noise just leads to people being more financially stressed because they're constantly questioning, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing this right? I don't know, right? So, next point in my notes. They push consumerism because that's what keeps the machine going. Guys, I could talk ad nauseum about consumerism. I could probably do a whole TED talk on consumerism, because consumerism is the biggest psyop, like the biggest marketing ploy. And trust me, I love marketing used in the right ways makes sense, right? So don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to bash marketing here, but when it's used nefariously, when it's used to make you buy stuff that you didn't even really want, it's what they're doing is they're preying on your human instincts and desires, and it's kind of like dangling the treat in front of the dog, right? Or dangling the carrot, as they say. It's the shiny thing, right? It's like squirrel, right? It's like, I want that now. No, you didn't. You didn't even know what that was 5 seconds ago, right? So consumerism is crazy. Also, along with that, shrinkflation, which, if you've never heard of that, it's just basically the concept of everything is getting smaller, right? You ever open a bag of chips and it be mostly air and like 5 chips in there? Like, what? Now, I'm a chips eater. I'm a chips snacker. I love me some chips. I open the bag is empty. Why? Shrinkflation. There are so many studies about this, so many experts. Again, y'all, next time I promise I'm gonna have some, I'm not gonna promise, but I hope to. I hope to have some visuals to show y'all. But it's so many people out there like look into it, talking about shrinkflation, looking at like even down to the size of the rolls of your toilet paper, the juice that's in the jug. They be resizing stuff, like uh resizing the packages so that they could put a little bit less juice in there, a little bit less seasoning in the pack, a little bit less meat in the thing. Like they're just cutting corners, and also lack of innovation. How many times they going to release the same iPhone? Oh, how many times? And keep trying to make us buy more, right? And then it's now to the point where you have to keep buying things because things break down so easily. The overall lower quality of products ensures that we have to keep coming back and spending more money. I had this probably my second or third computer in the past 3 years, but I remember a high school computer that I had literally since middle school. I had it for years. My mom used to pass down computers to the next sibling, okay? We used to pass down tablets and computers. So it's like, but now, literally, as soon as they release the new iPhone, the new whatever, the other ones start messing up. Oh, now I got to get the thing with the clearest vision, the clearest audio, the clearest this. They know what they're doing. Here's another point. Influencers and parasocial relationships are these companies, these corporations' go-to method right now to sell you more stuff that you don't need. Okay? They want you to believe that these people on the internet are y'all friends, that you know them in real life, that, oh, if I get this, then I'm going to be just like her. Oh, this person did this, then now I need to do it. These, and listen, I love me some Cardi B, but now she releasing a hair care line, right? And now it's, oh, I gotta get it because it's Cardi B. I'm just gonna try it just because it's Cardi. Did you even need some hair supplies, or you just buying stuff because it's Cardi? Right? And don't get me wrong, please, I love me some Cardi down, okay? But you have to, I just truly believe that when you are aware of it, like when you wake up to it, it's like you can't unsee it. Then you literally are able to peep in every circumstance, like, oh, they just trying to sell me something. They're just trying to sell me something and jack up the price, okay? Also, they are pushing sports betting and odds betting on every other commercial. My God, I cannot stand watching commercials because it feels like every other one is either a big pharma, which I'm going to talk about next, or sports betting. I'm done. Okay. Odds betting, sports betting. I wonder if the president's going to say this. I wonder if this person's going to catch the ball. Why are y'all wasting money? And as a matter of fact, I want y'all to know that these industries literally they implement the same objectives that get people addicted and hooked in casinos. Okay? So the same things that get people addicted to spending money in a casino is the same thing that these sports betting and odds betting apps are using to keep you hooked. They're putting it at the bottom of the sports center. They're putting it in every commercial. They make an app. They connect it to your bank. It's ridiculous, right? And the thing about it is, statistically speaking, you're probably going to waste more money than you make. Okay? They try to give you the illusion that you have control, that you're going to get lucky, that you're some sort of master analyst and you know how to figure it out and know the numbers. But what happens most often, and you know what? It might be people out there that, okay, maybe you figured out how to beat the system. Maybe you're the one person. Okay, great. Good job. But statistically speaking, most people just end up losing money and getting addicted. So why would you even do it? If it was meth, you wouldn't do it. If I told you was going to lose all your money and get addicted to meth, you'd be like, yeah, Jasmine, you're right. I'm not going to do no meth. It's the same thing with sports betting, okay? Next, they have a pill, a cream, a drink, a this, a that, and everything else that Big Pharma or any other medical company is trying to sell you as a solution just so that you could get 5 other issues, another monthly expense, and it's a band-aid solution on a problem that could have probably actually been fixed if our food, our water, and our air wasn't poisoned. Okay? So again, and you might be like, why is she saying all this? Like, what is her point of saying this? What I'm trying to point out here is that if you are feeling financially stressed, if you are feeling financially anxious, rightfully so. Okay? I get it. Cuz it's a mess and I'm not even halfway through my rant yet. But I'm just saying that for the people who might have just tuned in. My goal at the end of this is to actually give you solutions. Okay? So I want you to stay tuned, but can you see how maddening it is? Like, there are times where I literally have to tell myself, like, Jasmine, don't rage right now. But like, it is insane. And then hold on, I'm not even done yet. So the American dream is a debt trap. Go to college, debt. Get a car, debt. Oh, but you need a credit card because you need a credit score. So debt. Get a house in the white picket fence, debt. Get married, debt. Have a baby, debt. Get a pet because you need a pet, debt. Or just expensive. You got to travel the world, debt. Oh, but you got to get the newest things and the newest clothes, the newest bags, the newest phone, newest this, newest that. So you got to keep up with your peers, your neighbors, all that debt. And oh, God forbid, don't get sick or need a medical procedure, more debt. Oh, but then you got to retire at 65 because you don't want to work until you die. But then you retire and you still have debt. And then they tell you, oh, but don't you want to pass on generational wealth, right? Do you know what most people end up doing? Passing on debt, passing on a bill, passing down nothing. Each generation starting over from scratch. That is not how it's supposed to be. Would that stress somebody out financially? Yes. Would that cause somebody to have financial anxiety? Yes. 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 I want to acknowledge, okay, because here's another thing. I feel like I see a lot of financial advisors, a lot of money coaches on the internet, and they try to tell people, oh, it's okay, but the market's booming. No, but still invest. No, it's not that bad. Everything's all right. I want this to be a space where at least I can validate you in saying, no, this is messed up. This is crazy. This is crazy. Okay. Let me keep going in my notes here. Let's talk about, hold on. Because I got to keep it pushing. I got to go to dinner with my friend. She out there waiting for me. Okay. And I'm about halfway through these notes. Because I want to get to some solutions for you guys. But first, let's talk about how our current administration is gaslighting us. They tell us to have kids, but they make it unaffordable and have policies that in fact make it more dangerous for women to have children in America. Not even just the birthing process, not even just the hospital. Talk about the schools, talk about the cost of childcare. But you want me to have a child? Next, according to the recent labor market numbers, they're telling us, no, it's more jobs being created. No, it's more people being hired in the last quarter. I literally saw a report earlier. I was watching the news earlier today. They were talking about Q1 numbers. They said, it's more jobs being created. It's more people being hired. Inflation's coming down. Let me ask y'all who in here in the comments. Do anybody feel that in their pockets? That is not what people are experiencing in real life. Most people are waiting months to be hired by a job. They're applying to hundreds of jobs. And guess what? They get the job. It still don't even be in their desired career field. It still don't be paying enough. And still and guess what? They say that inflation is down. And while that number might be true, the companies and I wish, again, guys, I apologize, but next time I'm going to have visuals. I wish I had the TikTok that I saw of the young lady breaking this down, but the way she broke it down was so clean, because what she was saying was, it's not that inflation is still up, because inflation numbers are coming down. The problem is the CEOs in corporations are still charging us higher prices because they know that they can. They know that we need this stuff. They know that they can get away with it. That's why they're charging higher prices, because they can. The inflation is down. The prices are just staying up. Okay? Next point. Legislation makes unnecessary policy change and makes things more expensive for production or shipping for a business, right? And they make consumers foot the bill, while corporate CEOs and businesses are having record-making profits. If I see one more headline about, oh, this billionaire made $1 billion last year. Oh, companies like Oracle laying off 30,000 people, but had a record-breaking year last year. The problem is not that the money doesn't exist. The problem is corporate greed. Okay? Next point. They suggest that owning your home is the key to financial security, but they make it unaffordable to get a home. I don't know if y'all ever do look on Zillow, and because I'm the type of person that would be driving around the neighborhood, be like, oh my gosh, that house is so nice. Like, let me see if I can find it on Zillow, right? Let me see what that house is worth. Have y'all ever done a thing where you do the price tracker and it goes back a couple years and look at like how much was this house worth in, like, for example, 2010, or sometimes I'll even go back to like 2008, 2009. Y'all, if you want rage bait, okay. And it'd be the most fixer-upper houses that'd be like $500,000. What do you mean, right? And it's like insane that there is a whole generation, specifically the boomers. Okay, I don't try to flack on boomers too hard, but I'm sorry, y'all have some boomers that give y'all a very bad reputation. And they are holding on to these home values like with a death grip. Like, if you don't allow young families to buy single family homes, not even just boomers, also private equity, which I'm sure many people have heard, hedge funds, private equity. You've probably heard people talk about that before. Yeah, that's big corporations coming in, buying single family homes, buying homes that would typically be a starter home for somebody and making it unattainable for the average young adult, but yet they tell you, oh, but you got to own your home so that you can have financial security. Your home's your biggest asset, which that's also a lie too. If you live in the home, it's not your asset. It can count towards your net worth, okay? But it's not an investment. Or sorry, let me rephrase that. The home that you live in is not an investment. It can be calculated towards your net worth, but if it is an investment property, that means that it is making money. If you live in a house, it is costing you money, which don't get me started on utility bills, and don't get me started on homeowners insurance, and don't get me started on mortgage rates, because all of those are also artificially inflated and going up for no reason. Again, the reason is corporate greed. Next, citizens have to follow laws and pay taxes, but leaders in the administration and billionaires that are ruling industries and leaders of the industry get off the hook for egregious crimes. Now, listen, if you know anything about me, if you know me in real life, I have been a conspiracy theorist for a while now. So, a lot of these recent headlines I already knew, okay? And I'm glad that a lot more people are waking up. Amen. But seeing, like, I have heard people who are in the psychological field, in the therapeutic, mental health field talk about this a lot. Watching crime, violence, egregious crimes happen, and then seeing nothing come about from that does something to the human psyche. It stresses you out, I think could be an understatement, okay? It's crazy. It's very gaslighty to tell us that we got to follow the rules, but we literally got a whole felon as our president. Okay, and I'm gonna just leave that note right there. Next point. They told us to work a job for 20 to 30 years and contribute to an employer offered benefit plan so that we can retire secure, but that's not true. Okay, the average person retires with like six figures. I think the last time I looked at the numbers, it was like 150,000, so like less than 200,000. Okay. The average person, in order to retire and stay retired and never have to work for the rest of their life, let's say retiring at around 65-ish, would at least need 3 to 5 million in order to last them the rest of their retirement. Okay, and that's accounting for cost of living, medical expenses, passing on some money to some heirs, some next generational wealth, right? That's a huge gap, right? That's a huge space right there. But they keep telling us this played out advice of like, go to school, get a good job, work that job, retire from that job, and you'll be all right. Like, that is not what's happening anymore. Okay. That is gaslighting. Don't let nobody tell you that. Okay. Next point. They tell us to eat healthy, but healthy food is expensive and it still be contaminated half the time. I literally, y'all, this is why I got to bring it to live, because otherwise I be in my meetings with my clients and I be talking about this and they're like, girl, this is not what I did a meeting for. Okay. I literally watched a video earlier today and it was talking about them bleaching chicken, chlorine in the chicken, and they still can put the label on it and certify it as organic. So even if I try to go eat healthy, go get the expensive foods, you still don't know. It still could have been in some fertilizer that had some contaminants in it, let alone they be spraying the air. So if it grew in air, okay, next point. I'm sorry, I'm going to keep it going. Oh my God. It's not enough to just have one job. You have to have more than one job, and then that results in no time freedom. But for some reason, they're telling you that this is normal. Okay? They're telling you it's normal. They're like, oh no, it's normal, right? And like, okay, let me normalize a little bit. When I was in college, did I have two jobs? Yes. I had more than one job when I was in college. I had more than one job after college when I was a young adult. So is it somewhat normal? Yes. But is it normal to have more than one job and still not be able to keep up with bills and enjoy life? No, that is not normal, y'all. Okay, next. They tell you to focus on eliminating debt, but our country is literally trillions of dollars in debt and has failed every audit for multiple years in a row. I don't think that needs any further explanation. Okay, like, how you going to tell me to be good with my money, but we're literally trillions of dollars in debt? Next point. When you're unemployed, they're telling you to keep applying for more jobs. maybe even jobs that you're overqualified for because you just need to make money, but you still don't get hired, and then you waste time going through an interview process. It's maddening. It's absolutely maddening. I've been in it before. I have clients who are going through it. We talk about financial stress. That will stress you out. Okay. They keep telling us that the market is booming and that the country is making more money than it ever has, but people are still struggling to keep up. Like, literally, if I hear someone from this administration say that one more time, I think I'm going to scream. Why do y'all keep talking about the Dow? The Dow is 50,000. The Dow is booming. That does not matter when it comes to people's bank accounts. They're gaslighting us. Okay, typical financial advisors are telling you to save more money, but you don't have any extra money to save. And unexpected expenses and rising bills are making it harder for you to find money to save and invest. Most of the time when I'm sitting down with people, I really am finding it hard. Like, one thing about me, and I'm going to talk about this more later, it's hard for me to be disingenuous. It's hard for me to tell you to do something that I feel like it's not going to work, right? So I just think that it's so important to give people the real. And most of the time, the real for people is you're not making enough money. You just need to be making more money. That's the real. Like, we can budget until we're blue in the face. We can try to cut expenses and save on taxes and cut out the coffees, which I'm not even a huge proponent of that, but because that is denying ourselves the things that we enjoy in life. Like, I am just the person who would rather tell you, you need to just be making more money. And ultimately that means, for some people, most people, you need to be having more than one stream of income. And maybe that might look like starting your own business, consulting work, gig economy. We're going to talk more about that later. Next, they told us that gas and groceries will be going down, but we're just seeing it go up. That is the definition of gaslighting. They're telling us not to trust our eyes. They're telling us that, no, the gas is not going up. It's going down. No, it's not. No, it's not. Right? And it's like, would that make someone financially anxious or financially stressed? Yes, it would. They tell you trickle-down economics will improve the lives of workers and consumers because when corporations make more money, they'll give more to their consumers and their employees. When we know what's actually happening is that they're pocketing these extra profits. And in fact, they're artificially increasing the prices to make it seem like it's a scarcity issue, when in reality, it's a problem of unregulated corporate greed. These CEOs are like, ha ha ha, no, I need another billion than I made last year. Why? They tell us we have to pay more in taxes, and states should charge us more if we want better state resources and literal basic human necessities, yet they refuse to increase taxes to the billionaire class. I literally saw Trump say that in a speech like the day before yesterday. He was like, we can't be concerned with like babysitting, like the cost of daycare and like the cost of like these little things. That's a state issue. That's a state issue. So you gonna tell this, like, if they want that, tell the states to raise the taxes on the people. But yet there are literal billionaires, because I've seen these headlines too, billionaires who are saying, hey, you could just tax me. You could just tax me. Go ahead and take my money. But they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. Okay. Next. Next. There's a long one. They tell us free market economy is the best. And this is like a core tenet. Hold on. Because I'm yapping today. This is a core tenet of capitalism. They tell us that free market economy is best because the best product or service will prevail, and that there's a competitive market for consumers to shop around for the product or service that best meets their needs. Right? Sounds great. Especially they was especially doing that when it came to healthcare, when they was going through that whole thing of like, no, like people should be able to shop around for their healthcare. Yet, we regularly see monopolies, private equity hedge funds, and large corporate buyouts that force people to choose from a select few options that often all feed back to the same entity that continuously reduces value and increases prices. I don't know if y'all know this, but whenever you go to the grocery store, you probably see a whole aisle of like one or two companies. It'd be looking like 17, 20 different brands right there. Nope. It'd be like one or two companies. They also often overpower small local businesses and run them out of business. I'm talking about you, Amazon and Walmart. Okay. And listen, I'm saying this knowing that I just went to Walmart. Okay. I also shop at Amazon. So I say that to say this system is so pervasive that it, even if you're aware of it, it is very hard to build systems outside of it, which is why I'm very excited to be doing what I'm doing and very passionate about the work that I'm doing right now. Because is it possible? Yes. But we have been so brainwashed and conditioned and systematically placed in this rat race that seems like there's literal no other options but these corporate overlords. Okay, but that's not true. Okay, it's not true. We'll talk about it more. Okay. We're almost to the end of this gaslighting list because it's a long list, y'all. I was typing these notes. I was like, and how else do they gaslight us? And how else do they gaslight us? Okay, anyway. They say everyone has a fair chance at becoming a billionaire based on their hard work and merit, but this is statistically rare. And more often than not, as I noted earlier, billionaires derive a lot of their wealth from inherited assets or leveraging assets. Okay. For example, Elon Musk, a great example. That man is able to leverage his stocks, his ownership in Tesla, his stocks and ownership that he has, and he's able to go into a bank and say, "Hey, give me a line of credit for $1 million." Excuse me, and they do it. They do it because he has assets that if something were to happen, they can go pull from those assets, right? But the average person does not have that. So, and I also say that to say because I think that's a mindset that's keeping a lot of people tethered to capitalism, is like the hope and dream that I too can someday become a billionaire like Elon Musk. No, you can't. You can't. I mean, could you? Yes, but you would be such a statistically rare anomaly. Like, next point. They tell us we have to recycle and reduce our home utility use to save the environment, but they're continuously poisoning the air, water, and food supply. They're building these data centers left and right, and they're destroying the environment and affecting the health of people who live in the surrounding areas. Again, I could do a whole TED talk on that. We don't have to belabor that point, but it's just really gaslighty to tell us, oh, your energy bill is so high because you leave the air on during the day. No, it's not. It's high because y'all keep increasing the prices because y'all keep building these data centers out in the middle of a city and then destroying the environment, destroying the animal and plant life, ruining people's health. noise pollution. Next point. They tell us they don't have money or solutions for our healthcare crisis in America, yet they have enough money for international wars that they now can't get out of. Meanwhile, hospitals are closing down, people are going without healthcare, and medical debt is rising. Simultaneously, the aging population of baby boomers, again, not all baby boomers, but for some reason, always a baby boomer. It's like I'm playing. Not all baby boomers are terrible, but I'm sorry, some of y'all have leaders with a very bad reputation. Okay. The aging population of baby boomers are expected to be cared for, while those in leadership are hoarding wealth, gatekeeping, and ruining the economy and social political system. Next, society tells us to make more money, but also demonizes those who are ultra rich. I literally was on somebody's page the other day. I forgot her name, but they always call her Pookie. And she was looking at bags. And literally I was scrolling through her comments and she was like, the comments were like, people are struggling, people are dying, and you're getting a Birkin bag. Dang, she can't enjoy her Birkin. But no, I just think it's like mind-boggling that people like strive to be ultra rich, but also at the same time demonize and shame those who are ultra rich. And what it ends up doing is it shames people into being secretive about their wealth and the ways that they accumulated their wealth. So it creates more gatekeeping, right? And I'm not saying that we need to like praise the ground that these rich people walk on, but it's an interesting dichotomy, right? Because it's like they exist, yes, and I don't know. It's just an interesting dichotomy, right? That, you know, some people want to be ultra rich, but they also demonize it at the same time. Next point. They tell us that immigrants are the problem when this country was literally built by immigrants. The people who came to America were foreign to this land. They made these fake borders, came up with all these rules and laws, and forced everyone to play this game that they knew only they could win. To only 250 years later, demonize the very people who built this country. I was seeing a headline the other day talking about this whole SAVE Act and how Native Americans can prove their citizenship. How you going to get a Native American to prove their citizenship? They are native to America. It's in the name. Why do they got to prove their citizenship? Because they're trying to make it harder for everybody, more expensive for everybody. Buying documentation costs money, right? So next, they tell us to contribute to Social Security because it will be the resources that take care of the generation once we reach retirement, when multiple financial experts have said that Social Security is going to be insolvent in a couple years. They're mismanaging the money. If you could take all the money that you have paid into Social Security and put it into a high yield savings account, or even a regular account that was getting a very modest conservative percentage, you will probably be better off than what the government is doing with your money right now. Next, they're sending people. Oh, I wrote this one in a little bit earlier today. I'm sitting here watching the news. Why is NASA sending people to the moon? Riddle me that. Why are we wasting money sending people up and around the moon when literally we have problems with healthcare, education, food insecurity, broken infrastructure, housing crisis, yet they want to send people to the moon? So all of this, many of us are questioning, well, what's next? It's like being whiplash every which way, okay? If we know the system is crumbling, what can we create to replace the old system that better serves us? We need to be asking ourselves those questions. I know I am. People are no longer subscribing to consumerism and realizing that we're paying into a system that does not reflect our best interests. Okay, if you are finding that your money is not reflecting your best interest, then why would you continue doing it? Many people realize that the old advice of go to school, get a good job, retire secure is outdated advice, and people feel lost trying to figure out the path that they're to follow now. A lot of people, like, people don't realize how there is almost a sense of failure, almost a sense of, I thought this was my expectation for my life, or this was the advice that I was supposed to follow, and now I'm off that path. And people don't realize how that can cause a lot of financial anxiety and stress. People are being forced out or chosen to leave or are choosing to leave the labor market and need to create their own path, their own business, their own side hustle because they desire time freedom and to be paid in what they deem they are worth. Okay. It's time out for these companies telling you what you are worth per hour. I want to speak over you. You have the freedom to deem your own value, to charge what you are worth. And you have the skill set to do what you're doing right now in corporate America. Do it in your own right, do it in your own lane, do it in consulting work, and charge what you're worth. You could probably charge double, if not triple, what you're currently making on the job by doing it yourself. Where was I? Lost my place in my notes. Here we are. Many people are interested in a new form of life that is slower, more aligned, more intentional, and surrounded by like-minded people and communal living. One thing about me is I'm going to tell you, be who you are, but if it don't jive with me, be who you are over there. Okay? Like, I don't have to stop what you got going on. You don't got to stop what I got going on. If we don't mesh, fine. Go be around like-minded people. Why do we have to butt heads? And why are you coming into my space telling me I need to do this with my life? Go be over there doing the things with those people that they like that, right? What happens if we don't fix this? Social inequality will continue to grow. People will find ways to cheat the system. They'll get away with breaking the law and taking advantage of others and whatever else they got to do to get ahead because they realize that playing by the rules will not always result in their desired outcomes, which also just leads to more civil unrest. And I'm not here to fearmonger, but this is the writing on the wall, right? The economy is just going to continue. The economy is just going to continue to be held on by a thread.
Oh, that's nothing about specifics.
The economy is just going to continue to be held on by a thread and held up by the top 2% of people who are doing all the spending in the country right now. People will continue to grow restless and will get to the point where they're feeling like they have nothing left to lose. And that is a very slippery slope to be on. And again, it's going to result in more civil unrest. And I am not here to fearmonger, but what I am here to do is to talk about solutions. So let's go ahead and get on to that and talk about what are the solutions, okay? I have spent a whole almost hour ranting and raving about all the problems. And guess what? I could go probably a whole nother hour. But I want to be the type of person on social media who does not just talk about problems. I also want to talk about solutions, okay? So first, let's talk about what's not going to get us out of this. In my opinion, okay? I'm not saying this has to be for you. I'm not saying this is the end all be all. I'm not saying I'm right about everything. In my humble opinion, What's not going to get us out of this problem is voting. If somebody else tell me one more time, we just got to vote our way out of this. Voting got this monster into the White House. Voting's not going to get us out. Marching in protest, performative marching, performative protesting, not going to get us out of it. Arguing online about stupid, psyop planted topics. 50-50, tread wife, body count. All these things, the wall, immigration, all these things to keep us distracted, to keep us fighting each other and not looking at who is the actual enemy, which is the people at the top. Blaming a certain group of people when it's not a group of people. That's the problem. It's a system issue. Here's a big one. Thinking that the system will fix itself, or believing that this does not affect me personally, so I don't need to do anything about it, or just being avoidant in general, not going to fix it. Being disjointed and disorganized with others. Again, capitalism is counting on isolation, counting on you being separate from other people. Lastly, suffering alone and not relying on others. That is what's not going to fix it. So here is my suggestion, and I'm going to end it on these final points here. I'm going to end it on these final points here. So first, these three things. Acknowledge your money mindset. Start practicing cooperative economics and mutual aid. Prepare for more changes to come. Let's talk about first, acknowledge money mindset. First thing I want you to do, detach your identity from your money or your net worth. A lot of times our financial stress and anxiety, it comes from feeling like we should be further along than we are, or we should be somebody who we're not. I need you, release it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, release them. Okay? Release that. Because when you are constantly caught in this comparison trap, or the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, that's what's stressing you. Well, that's one of the things stressing you. Align with what serves you now, what you value, and what is most important to you. Again, it's a lot of people on the internet telling you what you should be doing with your money, when in reality, what you need to do is look within. You need to ask myself, what is most important to me right now? What are my values? What are my goals? What are the things I'm working towards right now? What maybe to you, the most important thing is traveling and seeing the world. Okay, well then I'm going to make sure I'm saving my money and I'm doing the right thing so that I can travel without financial stress. Maybe the most important thing for you right now and your values align with preparing for children, or you have kids. Okay, I'm doing everything I can. I'm making sure I have my education savings accounts for my kids. I'm saving money for my kids' emergencies. I'm helping them to learn financial literacy. Take time to ask yourself, what do I value? Here's another good question to ask yourself. What makes me feel financially safe? Next time we meet, I want to talk about, next Friday, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Again, I want to be able to pull some things up and show you guys some things on the screen. But basically, if you haven't heard of it before, it's basically a pyramid that each layer describes like certain things that a human needs to feel whole, complete, and self-actualized. Same thing with your finances. You need to have financial security to make you feel safe, right? There's a certain amount that when you look at your bank account, if I don't see this amount, there are alarm bells going off in your head. Or if I log into my bank account and I log into my investment account, I see my money has gone down to a certain amount, it's scaring me. It's raising my blood pressure, right? So ask yourself, what are the things that make me feel financially safe? Maybe it's as long as I can pay all my bills on time every month, I'm financially safe. Okay. Maybe it's I have a nice, healthy emergency savings account. If God forbid anything happens, shit hits the fan, I can go get this money out this account and I can just go live somewhere else, right? Ask yourself and then work towards what is going to make me feel financially safe, because that is what helps us reduce financial anxiety. I already said this, but it can never be said enough. Remember, comparison is the thief of joy. And truth being told, we're living in an era that makes it more easier than ever to compare yourself to others, right? So you can just log on and without even acknowledging or knowing it, right? You just see other people's accomplishments, and social media is everyone's best moments, everyone's highlights, right? We don't see their day to day, the times that they was crying, the times that they was stressed, the times that it didn't work out. You're just seeing all their best moments. So it's very easy to get into, and I'm speaking from personal experience, get into comparison mode and be like, dang, I graduated with Susie, and now I don't feel like as secure as Susie appears to be online, right? So check that at the door, okay? Recognize when it's coming up for you, acknowledge what feelings are there. I'm a big proponent of therapy. Maybe work through it with a therapist, or at the very least, journal it out, write it out, because allowing it to just keep cycling in your energy is what's not going to work. Next, don't be afraid to say that this career, this goal, or whatever served me in this chapter of my life, but now I am more passionate or aligned with this career path, and I am ready for a pivot. Okay? And along with that, let your ego go. Most of the time, the reason why people are financially stressed is because of ego. They are being avoidant towards bills and rising prices, and they feel like if I don't acknowledge it, if I don't look at it, if I don't think about it, it will go away and I don't have to fix it, okay? Or I'm not able to fix it right now, so I'm just not going to look at it. Nope. That's your ego talking, okay? They also will say, oh, I'm too good to ask for help, or I'm in such a high position in my family, in my career, in my social circles, and I can't appear as if I'm struggling. As a matter of fact, as a leader, it is more attractive to see a leader, or not attractive, but it's more appealing to see a leader who has been through something and has overcome it. And here's another good example of that. Someone who knows that they're struggling to keep up with paying a bill, but they, instead of calling the company and saying, oh, do y'all have any like hardship programs or a payment plan program, whatever, right? Something to help people when they're in time of need. They don't want to call because they want to say, oh, I pay all my bills on time. If anything, I'm going to get it out the mud and I'm going to figure it out. That's your ego talking, okay? Stop thinking it's only you. Again, why your ego is making you main character energy. You thinking that I'm the only one in the world who is suffering or struggling right now. If anything, that rant that I did earlier should have told you, it should have told you that this is a pervasive, systematic problem that most people in America right now are struggling with. And along with your ego, you need to stop feeling the need to hold up the mask. Get vulnerable. Feel the feelings. Feel the grief of a career that you thought you would have had, or where you felt like you thought you were going to be by now. I'm not even going to go there. Just feel those feelings, okay? Feel the fear. Feel the frustration, the instability, the anger. Name it. Release it. If you keep pretending like, oh, everything with my finances is fine, everything's fine. No, it's not. Okay? It's not. And if you keep pretending like everything's fine, you'll never get to a place where I can work through that, right? Here's some questions that you could be asking yourself. Define what is wealthy or rich to me. Do you know what your financial independence number is? If you don't, reach out to me because I can help you with that. I can tell you. Basically, that's the amount of money that I need to see in an account so that I never have to work for money again. I could just live off that money, live off the interest from that money. Wouldn't that be helpful to know? Right? But if anything, at least take time to define like what even is rich to me. Some people might define rich as I can wake up when I want. I don't got to wake up and clock in anywhere. I remember when I heard somebody say that, I was like, girl, that was good. She was like, for me, rich means that I don't have to wake up by an alarm clock and clock in. But it's like, that's the thing. What is rich to you? Next question you should ask yourself: how are your thoughts and outlook about current news or your current status in life reflecting in your money habits right now? Again, financial nihilism is on the rise, right? So are you the type of person that's looking at the news like, well, we ain't living for tomorrow, so I'm going to just go ahead and blow all my money today? I don't know about that. Right? Or are you the type of person that's looking at it like, oh, I need to take all my money out and go get some gold, or I need to take all my money out and go put it in a safe or in a bunker? Right? I want you to take time and reflect on what are the thoughts that are cycling through my mind when I'm reflecting on these current news, or just even the current status of my life or the economy. Think about that. And how is it showing up in my habits? Next question you should ask yourself: what do I want my financial future to look like? And how likely do I believe that it is going to become my reality? That is a really important question to ask yourself, because I think for a lot of people, it's easier to paint the picture or say the things like, I want this and I want that and I want this and I want that, right? And that sounds good, but how likely do you believe that it will actually become real? And I think that belief comes from having a plan that lays out how I plan to make it become real, right? So if you don't have a plan, like if I tell myself, I'm going to have $3 million by the time I retire, but I don't got no plan to get there, I'm like, oh, yeah, like that sounds nice, but I hope it will happen, right? Is it a hope, or is it like I know? Next question to ask yourself: what am I doing now with my money that my future self will thank me for? Good question. I don't know. Some of y'all might need to do some other things that your future self will thank you for, or maybe you're already doing things. Next question you want to ask yourself: how am I financially dependent on those around me? Are there people around me who are financially dependent on me? What does that mean to me and how I handle my finances? Very important question to ask yourself. I think people who are parents right now have a lot of additional levels of financial stress, right? I think it's really hard to have a kid and feel like, what will the future hold financially for my child? What will the job market look like? What will be their odds of success? Will they be able to afford to live on their own, right? Like, I think when people are dependent on you, and also think about those who you are dependent on, I think that's also a great reflection to have, because I think especially when it's financial chaos going on, it's very easy to be wrapped up in your own bubble and not realize how that person that you ask, oh, can I get $50? Can I get $20? That person who, bails you out of every financial situation, how that may be affecting them, right? Like, I think that is a question you should reflect and ask yourself. And not to say that you should feel bad, because obviously that person is helping you for a reason. But I think the more that we're able to just reflect it, the better. Okay. So next question you should ask yourself is, what is something I value right now that is a financial priority for me right now? Right. So like I was saying earlier, some people might be valuing travel right now, even though travel is kind of crazy with flight cost and all the things. So just be careful as you travel around the world. But some Some people might value travel. Some people might value experiences. Some people might value security right now, right? But asking yourself, what are the things that are of value for me right now and not what society is telling me I should value right now? If I experienced a financial emergency and have to pay some unexpected money, how would that make me feel? That's a good question to ask yourself. What is considered an emergency for me right now? Now, when I typed that, I immediately said everything. But it's not everything, right? Because if everything is an emergency, then that means you'll never get to save anything in your emergency savings, right? So it's very important to literally go through and define, like, what am I deeming as an emergency? And then I can pull from that emergency savings. And what are the stuff that is, let's say, more manageable or more predictable that maybe I just need to get a system around, right? Because that's two different things. Next question you should ask yourself is, what is something, oh, sorry, I already read that one. How is the current state of the economy or my finances in general enticing me to do more convenient or impulse spending? Oh, I was like, girl, that was a good question. Type that one up. I think that is very important to ask yourself because we are living in an era that wants you to do more of that. It wants you to do more convenient spending. It wants you to do more impulsive spending, especially with the social media. The TikTok is showing you this is the lowest the price will ever be. Get it now. Here's a discount. Here's a coupon. Buy it now. You have to do it now. If you don't get it now, it's already gone. It's sold out. Price is back up, right? So all these things, or even convenience, it's like, oh, I don't want to go to the store to shop for dinner. I don't feel like going to pick up something from the restaurant. I'm just going to order it to my house. I'm going to DoorDash it. I'm going to Uber Eats it. I am going to just Amazon it, right? So all of this falls into the category of convenience shopping and impulse spending. And when we are in times of financial chaos, that goes up more. So if you don't acknowledge it, if you don't regulate it, if you don't check it, it's going to go crazy. So check it. Okay. Last couple questions that you should ask yourself is, what makes me feel like I'm wasting money or not doing a good job with my money? And then on the flip side, what makes me feel more money savvy and smart with my money? This is a good question to ask yourself, right? Because we all have those moments where we're like, I spent more than I should have. I shouldn't have did that. Like, why did I even buy that? That was so stupid. That was a waste of money, right? Acknowledging that so we don't repeat those same patterns, very important. Along with that, making sure we're doing more of the things that do fulfill that cup, right? Because the more that we can have evidence that our brain can go back to and say, no, I am good with money, the better, right? The problem is the brain is always resorting back to the thoughts that we repeat most often, especially when it comes to our mindset. Most often people are telling themselves, I'm struggling, I'm broke, I ain't got no money, it's hard out here. Life be lifing, right? These are even things that I find myself saying, but I really try to check myself, check other people around me and say, no, like you're not trying, you're doing the things. Like you are doing it, okay? Like it is possible. You can do it. So what are the things that make you feel like I am doing the right thing here? Next couple things, guys, because I definitely have to head out the door soon. I already read that. Okay, so the last few things I want to leave you with, guys, is change is not always bad. Every large empire in history has started declining after 250 years. The USA experiment may have run its course, but that's not to say that the United States or America is over. Obviously, I'm not saying that. I'm not here to fearmonger, okay? But it's obviously going to look very different. So we have to ask ourselves, how do we want to come out of this transition time looking different? We have to step back and look at the big picture and say, okay, what do I want my life to look like? What skills do I already have? What skills do I want to get? What ways do I want to make money? What ways serve me? What doesn't, right? This time of transition is going to encourage you to forge your own path. Maybe it looks like entrepreneurship. Maybe it looks like a hybrid. Maybe it looks like more than one stream of income, but it's almost like forcing the baby bird out the nest, right? And some people are like, I don't want to fly. I don't want to do it, right? And some people are already soaring, which is beautiful. I love it. We're great. But I just want you to know that even the baby bird that's scared to be pushed out the nest eventually is going to flap them wings and fly. Okay? Like it's going to figure it out. So you're going to fly. Okay? So last things I want to leave you with, guys, is lean into community during this time. Like I said earlier, implement cooperative economics. Utilize things that lean on community. You don't be afraid to utilize things like food banks or even donate to food banks. Visit your community center, see what free resources they have. Attend volunteer opportunities, or you volunteer your time, because the only thing that's going to save us during this time is each other. We have had more than enough evidence that our government is not coming to save us. The people who we voted in, who thought was going to serve our best interests, they're not doing that. Okay. So we can't keep trying to turn to these people and say, please save us, save us, save us, fix this. Please, somebody's got to fix this. No, we are the only ones who can fix it. Okay. It starts with your family, or maybe it's your chosen family, right? And sometimes people can't work with their family. I'm not here to get into that. Okay. I don't know everybody in your family. Fine. Your chosen family. Start doing things like coming up with emergency evacuation plans and support plans. Don't let people just slip through the cracks. If you know, like, somebody is struggling, reach out to them. Don't just allow people to fall. Safety nets and reinforcing each other's weak spots and gaps, right? It doesn't always have to look like monetary. Maybe you babysit for somebody and they cook a meal for you. Maybe somebody got food stamps and they don't use all their food stamps every month, and somebody got a car so they could give you a ride, right? It doesn't always have to look like monetary exchange. Also, along with that, I want to encourage people to start building reserves of food. Every time you go to the grocery store, even though I know prices are up, if you can, grab an extra can of something. Again, I'm not here to fearmonger, but we see the writing on the wall. We're not going to wait until the last minute, until the grocery stores are empty, until everything has hit the fan, and then we trying to hurry up and figure out stuff, right? No, we're going to build our reserves now. We're going to get organized. List out the things that you have that are skills. Okay. Maybe you're really good at organizing things. Maybe you have somebody else who's really good at bringing people together. You have somebody else who's really good at cooking. You have somebody else who's in the medical field. You have somebody else who's really good at social media, whatever, right? Figure out everybody's skills, list those skills in a place everybody could access. Make sure y'all have communication plans. If again, guys, I'm not here to fearmonger. Please hear me to say, I don't got no crystal ball. I don't know what's going on. I said earlier, I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist. Okay. So I have my own opinions, which I'm not here to share. But if any of these situations were to happen, it doesn't hurt to have reserves of food, reserves of water, ways to communicate if the grid were to go down, an evacuation and meeting point. And the reason why I'm saying this is because this is what can help reduce financial anxiety in general, when it feels like the country is in chaos and I don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do with all this anger and pent up energy, and I'm just stressed out. This is where you could put your energy into planning, into organizing, into reaching out to the people around you. Also do regular frequent check-ins and be willing to get vulnerable. Again, this is not the time to try and hold up the mask and be like, I have everything figured out. My finances are great. Everything's fine. It's fine. No, it's not fine. Stop saying it's fine. Be willing to be vulnerable with the people around you. I'm not saying everybody, you ain't got to go on the internet and blast all your business, but with the people who are your chosen family, the family that you work with, the people that you love, get together with them on a regular basis and start being prepared. That is the only thing that is going to reduce your financial anxiety. That is the only thing that is going to save us when things are crashing and burning, is each other. So the last thing I'm going to say to you guys is know when to log off. Know when to log off. Log off from the news, the government, social media. They all want you to live in isolation and fear. They want you to be in an echo chamber where all this news and I'm a work from home person. I work remote and I travel across the country. Some of y'all know more about my lifestyle, right? So I travel around a lot. I'm not always close by family or friends. Sometimes I'm in a new city where I don't know nobody. Okay. So it's very easy for me to be in my room, in my hotel room, in my Airbnb room, and just be me and watching the news and be like, everything's crashing and burning. It's going down. It's terrible. Everything's about to be over, right? Spiral. That's what they want you to do. But you have to remember our human nature. You have to remember just our human nature, okay? Humans naturally crave connection. Humans are inherently good. Are there people who are bad, who are getting a lot of publicity and on the main stage right now? Yes. But most humans are inherently good. Most people don't want to harm you. But the news, social media, all this stuff wants you to believe that. Okay? Don't let them win by allowing them to make you distrust your own people. Let me say that one more time. Don't let them win by allowing them to make you distrust your own people. The best revenge to capitalism, to our government, to our current economic system is to disengage and become independent. Okay? There's a big strike going on in Italy right now where literally all the people, they said, guess what? We ain't working. We ain't showing up to work. We got enough food to last us and we just going to be on our own. And their government, their corporate class, these corporations, they don't know how to act over there in Italy. The best way to get revenge on capitalism is to disengage and become independent. Go be around people and remind yourself of the love, of the good that's in the world. And don't just be by yourself, okay? Know that you can create momentum and you can create that love around you, okay? If you go out, if you look in your social circles, if you try and have this type of conversation with people around you and they're not really feeling it, know that there is a circle of people. There are people out there who are embracing this type of culture and this return to the natural way of life, a return to communal living, return to corporate cooperative economics. So I'm very excited to talk to you more about that, guys. This has been a way longer yap session than I thought it was going to be, but y'all know I could talk, okay? So I hope you got something out of this. And I hope to do this again next Friday, again with a lot more visuals. And I know this was a new live stream on TikTok, so I'm doing this in honor of Financial Literacy Awareness Month, which is April. So I hope that you got some financial literacy out of this or learned something that can benefit you. And if you are looking for a money coach who's going to keep it real, who's going to help you address your financial stress and improve your money mindset, I'm your girl. Reach out to me. My consultations are free. I would love to connect with you and work with you. I do Zoom, I do in person. I'm currently in Charlotte, North Carolina. If you are in Charlotte, I would love to grab a coffee or lunch. If you know somebody in Charlotte, send this to them. Let them know, refer them to me, send them my page. I'm excited to build new connections and everything out here in Charlotte. I'm new to the area. Other than that, I love you guys. I know it's stressful. I know it's a lot going on. It is a lot going on. But we're in it together, guys. I'm proud of you. I love you. Okay, bye.